Hello, hello. Welcome back to a Prog Rock Christmas. Today we are taking a look at the Jethro Tull Christmas album. Now, Jethro Tull is, of course, one of those bands that's known for having sort of a million lineup changes over the years. That's why I didn't write anything down in terms of personnel. It's an okay album. It has a problem. It's a bit long. And this album isn't super historically significant, apart from the fact that this was the last Jethro Tull album until the last couple of years when Ian Anderson decided to revive the name. And it's alright. And this came out in 2003. It's decent. It's decent. It's a little bit long. You'll see what I'm talking about as we get deeper and deeper and deeper into this video. But the album starts off with Birthday Card at Christmas. It has an intro that's similar to many a Jethro Tull song. However, it sounded like strangely in line with contemporary music a little bit. It was weird. It was a weird thing to listen to, but I was just like, hey, I'm here. It doesn't stray too far from the typical Jethro Tull sound, but it does sound a bit contemporary, and if you don't really like a whole lot of music after the 90s, I can see where that can be a problem for you. And but in this case, I don't really think it brings the song down. Track number 2, Holy Herald. It's music which draws to mind a Victorian Christmas party with a typical Jethro Tull flair. It's an instrumental. It's it's very Tull-like. It's very Christmassy at the same time. It's weird. Song number 3, A Christmas Song. The typical Tull sound here lends itself brilliantly to a Christmas song. I just realized I accidentally made a pun. But the typical Jethro Tull sound lends itself perfectly to the Christmas festivities. In terms of the lyrics, there's not a whole lot to say. Not really, except it's just Ian Anderson singing some Christmassy lyrics. And that is followed up by another Christmas song. That's the title of the song. That's not me making a joke. And this is Jethro Tull attempting to do a Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing, although it kind of works. But in moments, it does kind of sound like Roger Waters' Amused to Death. Now, that could very well be because I listened to it last night. So, again, could be a me thing, but I do genuinely think there's a moment there that sounds a little bit like the bravery of being out of range, but not, just in terms of the sound, not, the melody. It's not like Ian Anderson stole the melody. Song number 5, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. It's a jazz instrumental version of, of the classic Christmas Carol, but there's a brief TSO break, break, sort of in the middle of the song, or close to the end of the song. And it's, again, I've heard better versions of God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. It's not one of those songs that I look forward to hearing a million times over the Christmas season, but it's better than Mariah Carey. Everything's better than Mariah Carey, though, apart from Taylor Swift. Jack Frost and the Hooded Crow. This feels right out of Tull's prime. I read somewhere that there could be re-recordings of some material, or this is finally putting these some singles out on this album, I guess. I don't know. But this sounds right out of the Tull's prime. Once again, the sound lends itself perfectly to Christmas. Song number 7, Last Man at the Party. This is perfect for a Christmas playlist. It's almost more Christmassy than the last one. it's also a fine example of Tull's standard sound. And the melody and stuff. It's very, very nice. It's a very beautiful Christmas song. It's perfect for a Christmas playlist. You throw this on at a party, I don't think anybody's gonna bat an eye. They'll be like, "Oh, this is different, but I like it." Weathercock, song number 8. Sounds more like a song that already existed and then was adapted into a Christmas song. It feels like a song that Ian Anderson was writing, and he was just like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with this. We'll just make it a Christmas song." And that's it. And then Pavane, it's a Jethro Tull instrumental. Nothing really to do with Christmas. Doesn't really feel all that Christmassy. We're a little over halfway through the album, folks. Again, this album it's a long one, and it's not as proggy as some of the Tull's other stuff. It's not proggy as Aqualung. It's nowhere near as proggy as Thick as a Brick and A Passion Play. And it's not it's not as proggy as War Child. I think those are the 4 truly classic Jethro Tull albums. I've heard some of their other stuff, and it's more in line with stuff like they were doing sort of in the mid-'70s rather than in the early '70s. First Snow on Brooklyn, great scene-setting lyrics. It's another great addition to Tull's vast discography. Green Sleeved, it's a Tull instrumental. Fire at Midnight, again, which is the 12th song. At this point, I was kind of like, okay, can we wind this down? It's not in a bad way. It's just, hey, you're kind of going a bit long. I think, there's probably some more good stuff, but you're dragging this stuff out a bit long for my liking. Again, that's kind of the problem with this album. A lot of these songs, they're a bit long. I wouldn't necessarily say they're too long in terms of how musically dense they are, because they're not, musically shallow. But if you put too many of them together in a row, it does start to sort of blend together a little bit. Fire at Midnight, it sounds like the rest of the album. We Five Kings, it's an instrumental version of We Three Kings. Ring Out Solstice Bells, and change the lyrics a little bit. It wouldn't feel out of place on War Child, in all honesty. Change the lyrics, change a little bit of the instrumentation. It would work perfectly on War Child. And that is the last vocal song of it. The next 2 are instrumentals. Bore, it's an adaptation of that classical piece that goes just with a little bit of a Tull flavor. Again, that song doesn't do a whole lot for me. Normally, it doesn't do a whole lot for me here. I just, it's here. And then A Winter Snowscape, it's another instrumental, and it's a bit of a shit way to end the album. I honestly think Ring Out Solstice Bells, just put 3 instrumentals in a row, and then, kind of hit us with a 1-2, or a bunch of instrumentals in a row, and then kind of hit us with a 1-2 punch of Fire at Midnight and Ring Out Solstice Bells to end the album. I feel like that would be perfect. Or cut out some of these instrumentals. Just cut out these last 2 instrumentals, because they really have nothing to do with Christmas, and just ended on Ring Out Solstice Bells anyway. Give it a listen. It's a bit long. It's over an hour. It doesn't need to be. But it's not, if you like Jethro Tull, it's not a bad album to listen to if you want something a little bit different for Christmas, for your Christmas playlist. Again, that's the whole point of this series, giving you something, still in the Christmas spirit, just a little bit different than, Mariah Carey or, the 40s and 50s stuff. Not that I hate the 40s and 50s stuff. I love that stuff. It's just, if this stuff packs a little bit of an extra punch. And this is the most Christmassy album we've looked at so far, but not the most Christmassy album we will look at. And we will look at the most Christmassy prog album I've ever heard next week. In fact, it will be released on Christmas, but I will record it Monday, probably. Or maybe Friday, I don't know. Friday this week. But for now, I would like to thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. If you have something to add, please do so in the comment section down below. If you want to continue along my musical journeys with me or join me on my musical journeys, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to hear me talk about something other than music, I have a podcast with two of my buddies. It's called Dorkies. I will link the most recent episode of that in the description below. And if you want to hear what I happen to be listening to that day, or a 15-second segment at least, you can follow me on Instagram at Sean_Heaster1979. I post a 15-second segment of a song on my story there every single day. And with that, I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.